Hey everyone, it's PLUM here and welcome back to my channel for another part of Let's Renovate Riverview. So yes, here I am with the love rat himself, Don Lothario. And I have to tell you, I was a little hesitant to take on Don Lothario because he is an OG sim. He has been with us since the Sims 2 days and I didn't really want to mess him up. But you know, I thought these are extreme makeovers. I'm putting my own spin on it. And I actually asked my husband, if he were to look at Don Lothario in his original state, what kind of sim would he say that he was? And my husband said that he looks like a wet sausage. So my job was to take Don Lothario from a wet sausage to a hot dog, and I think I achieved that. Now when I say that his look is all in his eyebrows, it's all in his eyebrows. I don't know why they're brown. That's very weird. I feel like EA did Sims 3 Don really dirty because he's basically, when I got him into cast, he's basically a pudding face, which means that all of his sliders were pretty much set to 0. So I had a big task on my hands to make him look really hot because he's a womanizer, he's a love rat, he's a Casanova, he's a Lothario. I mean, beforehand, he didn't look like somebody that would have the confidence to go around womanizing all these different women and taking them on dates and woohooing with them in every place possible. He just looked like a creeper. I mean, Don Lothario looked like a creeper in his former life before I got my hands on him. So I'm glad I had the opportunity to do this, and I hope you guys really like how he turned out. Now, like I said, he has been with us since the Sims 2 days, but before I go into that backstory, let's just talk about Sims 3 Don. Now, Sims 3 Don seems to have arrived in Riverview by teleportation, and I say that because his life story and the events of Don's life follows straight on from The Sims 2, whereas everybody else in The Sims 3 is a prequel, with the exception of the Caliente sisters who arrived in Barnacle Bay later on in the series. But everything else is a prequel. Don is still a young adult, which follows on from his Sims 2 days. So it's a little bit strange. But in The Sims 3, his traits are charismatic, commitment issues, flirty, hot-headed, he's a schmoozer, his lifetime wish is to become a heartbreaker, and I made sure to take that into account when I was redoing his home. And his favorites are electronica, sushi, and the color black. Again, you're going to see a lot of black in his outfit and also in his brand new home. Now, if we pop back to The Sims 2, because that's where we first met him, he's in a relationship with 4 different women. So he's in a relationship with the Caliente sisters, Nina and Dina, and I would really love to get the 3 of them together again in The Sims 3 and kind of see what happens. He's also engaged to Cassandra Goth in The Sims 2, and he's having it off with Kaylin Langarek, who is a maid, who is also having it off with Daniel Pleasant in The Sims 2. I really miss The Sims 2 and all of the drama and all of the interweaving stories because it was crazy. I mean, there was some tea going on back in The Sims 2 days. But just look at Don. Does he not look like a specimen of perfection? I feel like if he was in high school, he would have been the big man on campus, and that would have been his claim to fame for the rest of his life. Like, he would have been the prom king. He would have been that guy who would have made a bet with one of his friends to say that he could turn any chick into the prom queen just because they were dating him. That's how I feel like Don looks. But he kind of looks like a young Elvis right now. I really dig Elvis. And I really love this facial hair. I tried to use it on Buckbroke, but it didn't work for Buckbroke, and I stuck with this facial hair for the longest time with Don, and then I went back and changed it. I don't know why. I really just love this facial hair, and it looks like the facial hair of a love rat or a Casanova or someone who's just a really good lover. I don't know why this facial hair says that to me, but I changed it. I will use that facial hair on one of these makeovers some days, but I went with sort of a scruffy beard look, and we've gone past it several times. I had to try all of them, but nope, I keep changing this one. And then I had to give him body hair because, you know, testosterone and all of that. But here we are doing his outfit, and I only did his everyday outfit on camera, of course, but you will see all the rest of them when we get to the spinny bits, which we are almost there. So I'm gonna love you and leave you with some music, and I will pick up with you once we get back to the renovation of the Granery, which is Don's home. And here we are at the Granery, which is Don Lothario's abode. And before I get right into it, start talking about this, I really would like to apologize because it's going to be a roller coaster for a second. We're going to bump up and down for a bit because my camera was all over the place. I think it was because of all the different levels, which you can see I've gotten rid of some of them because they were just useless. I mean, at the very tippy top of the Granery, there was a corner that I would call the creepy kids corner that just had a teddy bear and a football, and there was a picture there as well. So I don't know what that was for. Actually, I have an inkling about what it was for. So as I said, this was called the Granery. I renamed it the Nova, which is short for Casanova. You see what I did there? But it is said that the Granery belongs to the McDermott family, and their farm is just in the back of this. You can see sort of the yellow and the roof in the back. And it's said that maybe this was their Granery as part of their farm, and when Don teleported to Riverview, McDermott, I think his name's, what is his name? It's something McDermott. He's friends with them. What is his name? What is his name? Luke McDermott gave the Granery to Don because he showed up in Riverview. He didn't have a job. He just had a car and he needed a place to live. So Luke was like, hey, you can live in my old Granery. But I wanted to change this into a modern farmhouse. So that's what I did. So this is the shape, and you can see that I'm having a mare with the windows. I mean, look at how ugly that is, and like what a trip that is. I didn't like that at all. So we're going to change it. And I'm not actually adding to the house. It was originally as wide as I'm making it now, but I scooched it in a little bit originally. And then I was like, no, Don needs the space. He needs all the love making woohoo space that he can get. So I went back to its original shape. The only thing that I did change was in the back. I made it one tile in. I don't in out short long, I don't know how to describe it as best, but I pulled in the back just a little bit because he didn't need that much room in the back. So that's the only thing that I changed. And then of course I added these bump outs, but the original shape and the base of the house is very similar to how it was. So it's still a renovation, right? Even though it looks completely different and it isn't as tall as it used to be. And here I'm just working on the back, and we've got this little bump out. Originally there was two wall lengths long bumped out, and I only made it one because, like I said, it didn't need to be that deep. Anywho, here's the shape of it, and I wanted to make it a black farmhouse because Don's favorite color is black, and we've got all of these big windows, and it kind of reminds me of something that you might see in Scandinavia. I've never been to a Scandinavian country, so if you're from a Scandinavian country and I've got this completely wrong, I do apologize, but this is how I imagine modern farmhouses to be. So we're already on the inside. I do go back outside and do the landscaping at the very end of the video, but I couldn't stomach it in the very beginning. So we've come inside, and I'm using some spiral staircases, but look at me struggle about where to put them. I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't really know how I was gonna lay it all out, and usually I wouldn't do the layout on camera because, I mean, look at the reason why. It takes me forever and I'm changing my mind left to right in Chelsea, but I thought I would show it to you guys because actually this leads me into a really good segue. My niece has been watching my videos recently, like going back from the beginning and watching them all, and she comes back every time with a load of questions. How do you do this? How do you do that? So I said maybe I will film a video that talks about my decorating and building tips and tricks. I mean, she had a long list of questions for me, so I thought I would open that up to you guys. Is there anything that you guys would like to know? I know this video is super fast, but if you see anything about building, decorating in this video or any of my other videos that you would like to know, let me know down below in the comments. I also posted this on my community tab. Now, usually my community tab I use for like moaning and whinging about how I'm not going to get a video done, or that I'm an inconsistent sloth, or I'm just going to be late or something like that. But sometimes I do ask the real questions. So I did ask this on my community tab. If you guys had any tricks, tips that you guys would like to see, let me know. And you can let me know in the community tab. I mean, if you like a good whinge and a moan, that's the place to be. Anywho, so we're all laid out, and I decided to put the kitchen on a platform, and I change it up. So at the moment, the whole entire kitchen and I guess dining area is on a platform, but then I change it because I've got sort of a two-tiered cabinet island thing going on. You guys are gonna see in a minute. I mean, I'm not the best at explaining things, and I jump on my words and I choke on my spit, but you know, hey, welcome to my channel. But here we are doing the sort of step down platform, and then I changed out the door so that it was a single door and it can go out on the platform decking. We'll get to that when we get to the landscaping. I'm jumping way ahead of myself, but here we are, and we've got this sort of two-tiered thingamabob going on. I really like that. I haven't done that in a very, very long time. It's not a very big kitchen that I've got for Don, but he doesn't need a big kitchen. I don't see him cooking a lot. Like, I can see Don having one of his woohoo conquests cook him breakfast in bed, so it doesn't need to be that big. I mean, he's a misogynist. He is definitely a misogynistic character. Oh my god, Don is Gaston from Beauty and the Beast. And I'm not saying that misogynists are great, but I mean, Don has a story. Don is drama. Don is tea. You love to hate Don. And yeah, I don't know where I'm going with this, but anyway, I didn't recolor straight away. I did the same thing that I did with Ruby Broke's trailer, in that I put everything down and I recolored some of the things, like the kitchen wall coverings are all finished, but then I was like, I don't feel like recoloring everything right now. So I came back and I did that at the end once I have everything laid out. So for Don's sort of style, I was going for a minimalist. I feel like he wouldn't have a lot of stuff, especially if he is teleported from Pleasant View. I mean, what can you take with you when you teleport from a different world or a town? And not a whole lot. So I went with a really minimalistic, modern, chic style. So there's not a lot of clutter going on. And it's just sort of clean lines, but it's a lot of dark colors. I feel like I was talking about with Scandinavian type of architecture, it's going to be lighter and brighter, but I went the complete opposite because Don's favorite color is black. So I just went black, gray, there's some blue dotted about, and there is a little bit of white dotted about, but mostly it's the darker colors, and I think it suits Don's personality. I feel like Don's got a really like dark soul and a black heart. I don't know why I'm getting these vibes. He's certainly the man that you love to hate. I know I've already said that, but I mean, it's kind of hard not to like him because of his backstory and all the drama that he brings to the franchise. But like, if you knew a Don in real life, you just wouldn't be friends with him. You'd steer clear of him. I mean, Don is the definition of a boy. I'm just gonna come out and say it. He is the epitome of that. He uses women. He's got commitment issues. I mean, will Don ever settle down? I'm trying to think who I can think of in the franchise that if Don ever did settle down, who would it be with? And it comes to mind that it would probably be Nina Caliente. Who's the blonde one? No, it's Dina. I think he would settle down with Dina because I feel like Dina's nasty as well. So I think they would get on like a house on fire. But anyway, we're upstairs and I already did the downstairs bathroom, and this is the upstairs bathroom. This is his master bathroom. These are the only times that you're going to see the bathrooms on camera because I didn't recolor them on camera because, you know, what do we say about bathrooms? You shit, shower, and shave in them. And, you know, that's all. So here we are in his like love pad. I don't know, I wanted to keep the loft thing going on, but I found something out about myself, and I probably always knew it deep down. I really hate open space, not open spaces, but I hate blank spaces. So I mean, I easily could have left the bedroom with just his bed and the side tables and the stairs going up to the next floor, but I was like, I need to fill this hole. And so I've used these chairs from Aurora Skies, which I've come to decide that I really hate these chairs because they don't, I mean, they snap together, but they don't snap together very well, and they're very finicky. So look at me trying to lay this out in the best possible way. I mean, I had to make it so that Don could get in one side of the bed and whoever he is conquesting, is that a word, could get in on the other side of the bed, and it took me a while to make it work. So this completely changes in a minute because yeah, couldn't make up my mind. Indecision at its finest. I mean, when we come back to recoloring, I even change up the bed, I change up the sofas and everything, but I thought, let's put a fireplace in here. And this fireplace is from Aurora Skies. I really love it. It's very minimalist, which again was what I was going for. And you know, looking at this, I like this layout, but of course I'm gonna change it completely because, you know, couldn't make up my mind. So I decided to make Don his own little entertainment center. And when I went back to the original Granery, when I was taking screenshots, I noticed that Don had sort of a PlayStation or an Xbox or, you know, some kind of video game console. So when we go back to recoloring, I do put a video game console down. And then I also got really perverted and I put down a video camera as well. I feel like, I mean, this is the type of sim that we're dealing with. Somebody who would videotape willingly, him and his partner would willingly videotape and make all of these woohoo tapes and probably sell them on the black market or something. I feel like that's the type of sim that Don is. He's just a disgusting sim. The more that I'm talking about them, the more that I'm just like not liking him as a sim. I mean, he's great to look at, but his personality and the way that he is just shit. But anyway, here we are at the topmost level. I got rid of the other two like dummy levels from the original Granery because they were useless. They were just stairs and hallways. So I was like, no, we don't need that. But I decided to put in a sauna. So this is another place where your Sims can woohoo. So I think we've got a bed, we've got showers, we've got a sauna, and then we're gonna go outside and there's gonna be some other woohoo spots as well. I was trying to see if I could fit in the massage table because that's a woohoo spot, but I couldn't, so I decided to go with a pull-up bar because, you know, maybe after all the woohoo that he's doing, he might want to do some pull-ups. I don't know if that's how it works, but anyway, here we are recoloring everything, and to be honest, this doesn't really take me that amount of time, especially since I stuck to a specific color palette. Again, really dark colors, so his kitchen is pretty much black except for the countertops are really light, and we're almost finished with this, and then we're going to move on into the living area, which I think the living area is one of my favorite parts of this house. That and his loft bedroom. I really love the layout of the upstairs, not the tippy top, but his loft area. But yes, just going through recoloring everything. And you know, I was watching another Sims YouTuber, and it's a Sims 3 YouTuber, and they were talking about how long it takes them to build a house. And they were like, yeah, this house, it's 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, and it's completely landscaped. It took me 40 minutes to build. And I was like, what? I kid you not, guys. This half bath that was downstairs took me 30 minutes to lay out and recolor. 30 minutes for a half bathroom. So, I mean, you can see right there how incredibly slow I am. But I feel like if I wasn't this slow, I wouldn't have a brand. I mean, how many other indecisive sloths are there on YouTube? Not many. I feel like I'm one of the few. And yeah, so that's just me. I'm super duper slow. And it gets frustrating sometimes. Don't get me wrong. Like the color wheel, the create a Sims, or the create a style, I can't even talk. The create a style is like a blessing and a curse at the exact same time. Like, it's really cool that we can change anything to any pattern, any color that we want to, but honestly, it's tedious AF. Like, my God. And I feel like I haven't done a good enough job unless I touch every single item, every single wall, every single surface with create a style. And that's on me, that's my problem. So I've got like big issues here. But here we are in the little entryway. I decided to give Don a little desk and a laptop because, you know, dating profiles and all that. And I don't know, I feel like Don would be a writer, like, and he would write about his exploits. I mean, does anybody know anybody like that in real life? I mean, I do. I know an author like that. But yeah, that's what I feel like Don would do. That's how he would make his money. And so yes, there's the entryway, and now we're up to his little loft bedroom, which I love. And I get rid of the bed. I know I already said this, and I use a bed that I don't think I have ever used, and it's because I don't like the pattern on it, and you can't change the pattern. Do you guys know which bed I'm talking about? But it fit really well with this color scheme, so I threw it down and I was like, yes baby. And then that's when I ended up changing the sofa as well, because you know, I wanted to match the sofa to the bed, which you wouldn't really do in real life. Actually, you probably wouldn't have like a bedroom like this. But did you guys see my moment of weakness there? I almost used custom content. There's no custom content in this renovation of Don's home. I wanted to. I thought about it. You saw my moment of weakness. But I got over that really quick, and I was like, do I really need it? I like this entertainment center that I've built. It looks really groovy. Oh goodness. And I mean, when I was looking and like decorating Don's space, he also kind of reminded, so first of all, he reminds me of a big man on campus, and somebody who wouldn't let you forget that he was the big man on campus. Like, even if it was 20 years later, he'd go back to his reunion and he'd be like, do you remember that touchdown that I threw because I'm the big man on campus? There goes my hero. And he also reminds me of somebody that if he was born in the 80s, he would have had mirrors on his ceiling and those like glass block walls. Basically, Don is a pervert. I mean, I'm not selling him to you guys, but I feel like you guys don't need to be sold on Don. Here's the bed I was talking about. So this is from Diesel Stuff, and I hate that pattern. I absolutely hate that pattern in any other situation but this one. I think it really fits with the color scheme. So then I went back and I was like, I want the matching sofa because I really love that sofa. There's also a matching, what's it called? Love, it's not a love seat. It's a chair, a comfort chair. I have no idea what it's called. Armchair. Oh my God, what is it called? It's a single chair. Jesus, I just had a complete brain fart. But anyway, I didn't use that one because I used my favorite one that came from 70s, 80s, and 90s stuff. But we are up to the sauna area and we are doing the recoloring. I put a little jukebox down. Also a guitar in case, you know, Don ever wanted to serenade somebody after he has given the old 1-2 punch. Oh, this voiceover is just all over the place, and I couldn't decide what I wanted to put on the walls up here, but my parents have a sauna, and in their sauna it is completely like cedar, so I decided to go with a wood wall paneling. Couldn't decide which one. I probably should have gone with a horizontal one because that would have made more sense, but you know, since when have I ever made sense? I went with this other one, and I really like the pattern that I use on it, so I went for this one, and I believe that is basically all that is up here. And then we're gonna mosey on outside and do the landscaping, which I really love how the landscaping turned out. I don't say that very often because landscaping is one of my least favorite things to do, and if you guys want to know building tips and tricks, don't ask me about landscaping because I just go with the flow and I just sort of throw a bunch of buckhorns down, and that's pretty much how I landscape. And probably roofing is not something that I can help you guys with. I mean, I can give you like the basics of roofing, but the only thing I can really say about roofing is don't use auto roof. Other than that, I'm really bad at roofing, but you know, we can only try. Anyway, here we are outside, and I've made Don a little carport, and it made sense. Before there were 3 spaces, car parking spaces, and he only needs 1. He's just Don, and he's on his own. And then I went to use, oh my God, why is my brain not functioning? What is this called? Terrain paint. I went to cover up the terrain paint in the front because boo on EA for not giving us that terrain paint that's out front. But then I was like, oh, I can make this work, and I did make it work. Now I don't do the front facing the road with all the windows on camera, but you'll see that in the very end in the screenshot, so fear not, you will see what it all looks like through different times of the day and night. So here's another woohoo spot. I decided to put an outhouse behind the carport, and then there's a tent, That's also another woohoo spot. So what are we up to? We've got a bed, we've got a shower, we've got a sauna, we've got an outhouse, we've got a tent, and then we've also got a freaking haystack, because that is another woohoo spot. So we're up to 6 woohoo spots. And what do you think is going to go on that platform, guys? What do you think is going to go on that platform? The 7th woohoo spot. It's coming. It is coming. So, I mean, if Don could have completed his lifetime wish of a heartbreaker on his own lot, he would be able to do it, because I think you need 10 different woohoo spots, but I think they need to be on different lots. I can't remember. I don't play with heartbreakers very often because, you know, it would just make me really sad if I had a heartbreaker sim. But I'm working with the terrain paint here, and in real life you probably wouldn't have pavers that are curved like that, but it's The Sims and I can basically do what I want. So I did what I wanted and I used that terrain paint. But here we are on the little platform, and I'm just recoloring the edging, because that's something that I always do, is I recolor the edge, and boom, there is woohoo spot number 7. I mean, he's just gonna be, is it possible for Don Lothario to be woohooed out? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if he could possibly be woohooed out. But we've got a barbecue, we have got a seating area. This is like, that little seating area would function as his dining room because he's only got the bar stools inside. And I decided to put in the football that was up in the attic, the creepy kids area. I decided to put that out on the platform, so he's got that back. And we've got a little fire pit. I mean, Don could throw some pretty cool parties at his new pad, and I really love how it turned out. I know it's completely different from the original, like it's a completely different look. It's not as tall as it used to be, but I think I did a pretty good job on this one. This was a big renovation. You guys wouldn't think it would be because it was only 1 bedroom. But I mean, it takes me forever to do flipping anything. So it was a really big renovation for me. I know I asked for smaller suggestions when I asked you guys what I should do next. But like I said in my community tab, this home kept pulling me back in, and I was like, I'm going to tackle Don. I'm going to tackle Don. I'm going to do it. And it's just gonna look fabulous, and I think it turned out really well. And I don't think the landscaping turned out too shabby. I mean, I'm gonna go buckhorn crazy because I do love my buckhorns and they take up a lot of space. So I think it looks pretty good. But I'm gonna stop rambling because we are almost to the screenshots, so I'm going to love you and leave you guys for the rest of the video with some music. But if you enjoyed this part of Let's Renovate Riverview, make sure to do all those cool interweb things, like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you've got that bell ding dong so you can be notified whenever I do upload. But for now, I'm gonna skedaddle. Don't be a plum stranger now, guys.